Hi, I'm Chris from DataStax. We're here at KubeCon talking about our new operator that's now in beta. We found that when we try to deploy DataStax Enterprise on-prem or even inside of containers, it can be a little daunting at first. So we took action and started to automate this process, especially when we're inside of an environment like Kubernetes. So here we have our new operator, and specifically the building block of our operator is the DSE data center. So here we're describing the name of the data center, the name of our cluster, the version of DSE that we want to run. In this case, we're running a special edition that's Kubernetes enabled. And then we describe things such as the number of nodes, the type of storage we want to use. In this case, we're going to use 20 gigabytes of storage per node. And then the racks, where those nodes are going to be placed. So in this case, we have 3 racks spread across US West 1, A, B, and C availability zones inside of GKE on the Google Kubernetes engine. And then finally, down here at the bottom, it's pretty powerful. We describe the configuration for a node. So in the past, we've had to template this out. And if you're using containers today, you have to template out these files into a config volume. Well, here we just have a simple JSON syntax, or in this case, it's just pure YAML, to describe the configuration changes that we want to apply on top of the defaults. So we're enabling Prometheus monitoring, we're setting the number of tokens to 16, and finally we're disabling authentication. It's a demo, we really don't need to have that enabled. So once our YAML file is defined, we can then go over to our terminal and create our cluster. So first things first, I'm going to show what pods we have running. So we'll say kubectl get pods. And here you'll see we're running the DSE operator, Grafana, and Prometheus, and that's for visualization of metrics. So from here, we're going to submit our CRD describing our DSE data center. So we'll say kubectl apply-f, and our file is demo DSE data center.yaml. So we run that, and it creates the resource inside of the cluster. So now we can say kubectl get DSE data centers, and it'll actually list out all the data centers that are in our cluster, and that includes the one that we just submitted. Now I'm going to get the list of pods again, and you'll see we now have 6 pods running because we set the size to 6 inside of our YAML file. So here you can see rack 1, node 0, node 1, rack 2, node 0, node 1, rack 3, node 0, node 1. 6 pods all together. We have 3 of those pods are already running, 3 more are initializing right now. And when we talk about a pod, there's actually multiple components that are inside of here. We have the DSE container, which is actually running DataStax Enterprise. We also have an init container, which handles rendering out those configuration files. And finally, we have a management API as well on top of that. So these are going to spin up and start running. But in the background, we've also created some services. We're going to say get service. And you'll see we have a service for all of the nodes in the cluster, as well as what's called a seed service. So that contains all the seed nodes for the cluster. So when you're writing your application that connects to DataStax Enterprise, you're going to use one of these services. And as nodes are added and removed, or pods in this case, are added and removed, that service will automatically get updated and you won't have to change your code. One of the other nice things about this is because everything is underneath the service, we can then use other operators to monitor those nodes. So in this case, we're running Prometheus. We have a service monitor that is directed to look for this service. It will detect all of the nodes that are backing that service and add them to monitoring. So let's head over there now. Here you can see we have a Prometheus target, and it's already automatically set up all this monitoring. You can see I didn't add anything inside of here. I didn't submit any additional resources. It was monitoring that service. As soon as the service got nodes or pods, it started monitoring them immediately. So here, this node is actually already online. And you can see we have a number of labels here. And this is using the DSE metrics collector that was released, I believe, earlier this year to surface metrics up through collectd into Prometheus. So as these nodes come online, we're going to let that continue running for a moment. We'll run get pods again. And you can see this is that node that's already up and running. The nice thing about the operator is traditionally, when you go to run these kinds of operations, you as the operator, as the sysadmin, have to determine what nodes get started in which order. And the nice thing about the DSE operator for Kubernetes is you don't have to worry about that. It does that for you. So it said, hey, this is the first node I'm going to start. When that node comes online and becomes available, then it moves on to the next node. and it serializes those operations so you don't have to. You can continue doing other operations within your organization. So we're gonna let this run for a little bit longer. Now we have 2 nodes that are up and running. Again, it's handling that process for you, and it's starting them as quickly as possible. If we go back over here to Prometheus, we should see, yep, there we go. Another node is now considered up and monitored. And if I go over here to Grafana and refresh the view here, we can see that our graphs are starting to update as well as those additional nodes come online. So from 0 to 6 node cluster, it was as easy as submitting a YAML file to Kubernetes. Our monitoring is already in place with Prometheus and Grafana, and we can get back to doing the important things instead of watching and caring for the starting of individual nodes within a cluster. If you want to make changes, you can easily update the YAML, change the number of nodes that are available, change the racks that you want to leverage, heck, even change the configuration for the nodes. When you make that change, it will go out, update the configuration volumes, and restart the nodes in a rolling fashion. So we're following all the best practices. Deployment is trivial. You can actually check this into your source control, so you have your operations as code, or your DevOps pipelines can take advantage of these YAML files and these resources. If you want to know more, check out our labs page. We have the beta version that's launched out there. We also have a blog post up now that walks you through the process of running this on top of your own Kubernetes cluster. And it's in beta right now, so we're really looking forward to feedback from the community. Thanks for joining us, and I really look forward to seeing how this matures and how we grow as we move towards GA.